Hello, how are you? I'm fine, thank you. Sit down, please. I'd like to speak English today too, to improve my speaking skill. Let's get it started. Today, it is February 17th, 2023. It's on Friday and sunny outside. How are you spending Friday? I think many workers or students are feeling happy because it is the end of the week for many people. But some people have work or school activities on weekends too. But mostly, many of workers or students will have holidays, day offs on Saturdays and Sundays. What do you like to do in your spare time? Do you have a plan for weekends? No plan? Or do you want to sleep until noon? I'm often seen as a crazy. I'm often viewed as crazy. I'm often viewed as crazy. I'm often regarded as crazy. The employee is regarded as a superhero or a savior who takes on everything, even the ones we don't like to take on. The employee is regarded as savior who takes on all of the duties, which even all of us don't like to take on. Bowing is seen as showing respect to others in Japan. Bowing is seen as showing respect to others in Japan. When you are independent, you have to be manageable. Everything should be manageable by yourself. Everything should be manageable. Everything has to be manageable. Everything has to be manageable on your own, by yourself. The the more orders the company gets, the more difficult the staff is deal with the jobs, duties. The more orders the shop get, the more difficult the staff deal with the orders. The more staff will be needed to deal with the increasing number of orders. In those days, only one staff could deal with the orders, but with the increased number of orders, it is not manageable by one person now. In those days, only one staff could deal with the orders because there were not many orders from customers. But now it is not manageable by one person, by one staff. Extra 3 staffs were hired to deal with the orders. But another extra 1 or 2 more staffs might be hired because the orders are increasing again, increasing more. It's getting more difficult to be manageable. Manageable. I think most of the citizens deposit most of the money in bank because they are not manageable by themselves. It can be very risky to put a lot of money in house. It cannot be manageable for most of us. Most of people I think deposit most of the money in bank because they are not manageable by themselves. Manageable, manageable, manageable. From the lesson, the police officers could not manage the pedestrians during the festival. Increased number of police officers are going to be stationed in the venue this time. And the police chief hope the number of police officers will be enough to be manageable. I've been suffering from chronic disease since I was born. I've been suffering from chronic disease since I was born. I've been suffering from my chronic disease since I was born. Chronic. I have both chronic and acute disease. I've experienced both chronic and acute diseases. I've got over both chronic and acute disease. I've been suffering from both chronic and acute diseases. We can take precautions so as not to develop diseases. Healthy lifestyle, I think, is the best way to prevent us from developing disease. There are many precautions that we can take to prevent us from getting diseases. There are some preventions that we can take so that we won't catch a cold or develop other diseases. And there are some measures, precautions, preventions that we can take in order to avoid developing disease. Probably, presumably, maybe, perhaps. The sun is likely to rise. The sun is likely to rise soon because we can see the light. The light is getting to be clear. The light is getting to be clear. I feel like sleeping until noon tomorrow. I feel like sleeping until noon to recover from tiredness, to recover from exhaustion. I feel like sleeping until late in the morning tomorrow to recover from exhaustion. But I'm not sure I can sleep until noon. I'm sure my boss is less likely to accept my proposal. It is less likely to be rain tomorrow. It is likely to be rain tomorrow. It is likely to be rainy tomorrow. It is likely to rain tomorrow. It is likely to be rainy tomorrow. It is likely to be rainy tomorrow. It is likely to be rain tomorrow. It is likely that my proposal will be not accepted. My proposal is less likely to be accepted. My proposal is less likely to be accepted. I am less likely to be confident enough. I am less likely to be confident enough. I am less likely to be confident enough. I am less likely to be able to overcome the difficulty on my own. It is likely to be rainy tomorrow. 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 It is less likely to be it is less likely to stop raining in 1 hour. It is less likely to stop raining in 1 hour. I easy to get motion sick recently. I easy to get motion sick recently, especially when I take on bath. When I'm in bath, while I'm in bath. So I don't like the bath trip. The bath trip is the last thing I wanna do. Bath trip is the last thing that I wanna do. My parent will be the last persons to betray me. Family will be the last member. Family will be the last members to betray us. Family will be the last members to betray us. I found out that ginger very works for my nausea. So I always bring ginger with me in preparation for feeling nausea anytime during the trip. I found out that ginger works for my nausea very much. So since I always bring ginger with me in preparation for feeling nausea. Nausea. I easy to feel nausea in bath. I felt nausea even in plane. Nausea. I tried both medicine and ginger, but ginger worked for me more. Ginger worked for me better. 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 I found out that ginger works for my nausea. I found out that ginger worked for me better. Ginger. I was searching for chips for alleviating my nausea and found out that ginger works for nausea. I was searching for the chips for alleviating nausea and found out that ginger works for the nausea. Nausea, drowsiness, dizziness, drowsiness, nausea, 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 nausea. Nausea. I regularly bite ginger in order to remove nausea, in order to relieve my nausea, in order to alleviate nausea, in order to remove nausea, nausea. Have you ever been infected with flu? Have you ever been infected with flu? I am often astonished at the speed of the advancement of the technologies. The army advanced toward the center. The advance of new technologies, the advance of technologies, the advance of medical technology. The self-defense forces advanced toward the center. I saw self-defense forces advancing to the disaster-affected area. I have been the patient at the hospital for a long time, more than 10 years. I have been a patient of the clinic for more than 10 years. I have been a patient of the clinic for more than 10 years. I have been the patient of the clinic since I was 2020. We are soon arriving at Tokyo Station. Please be patient. We are soon arriving. We will be soon arriving at the restaurant. So please be patient. Thank you for your patience. We are soon arriving at the restaurant. We are looking forward to eating Japanese cuisine at so please be patient. My interests are never similar to yours. My way of thinking and perspectives and point of views are never similar to those of others. The itinerary is subject to be changed, subject to being changed due to the weather, condition. Popularity will disappear with time. Will disappear with time. We can take some precautions in order to avoid infection, such as washing our hands, wearing a mask, keeping us clean, and so on. Sometimes prior models are better than current models in everything. At times, prior models are better than latest models. It can happen especially to the design. Which do you prefer, the prior or the current latest one? It is common to arrive at the airport at least 2 hours before the time of departure. It is normal to arrive at the airport 2 hours before the departure time. In the prior years, I was studying so hard in order to pass examination. As prior preparation, I arrived at the destination the day before my tour. Prior preparation is very important to do something, to do everything, to perform something. The outcome will be decided by how much we can prepare beforehand, in advance. Prior preparation is very important. Prior preparation. The success might be judged by the prior preparation. 50% might be decided by the prior preparation. Whether the performance will be successful or not might be decided 50% by prior preparation. Prior. Do you know prior building of the current building? Do you know the prior business of the building? The building used to be used for post office. The building used to be used for a convenience store. I regret that I regret that I didn't challenge many things in the previous year, in the prior year. I usually arrive at the destination prior to anyone else. The first priority in my life is to do what I'm interested in. The first priority in my life is to do what I'm interested in and to avoid doing what I'm not interested in. Usually, priority seats are adopted in public transportations. Priority seats are usually adopted in public transportation for elderly and disabled people. I place priority on what I'm interested in. I usually place priority on doing what I'm interested in. I usually put emphasis on doing what I'm interested in. I usually place priority on doing what I'm interested in. I usually place priority on doing what I'm interested in. I usually place priority on doing what I'm interested in. I usually place priority on doing what I'm interested in. I usually put emphasis on doing what I'm interested in. Some companies put emphasis on which universities the candidates graduated from when they judge, select, and so on. It is said that successful people place priority on doing the most difficult duty in the first place in a day. It is said that successful people place priority on dealing with the most difficult duty in a day, in the first place in a day. It is said that successful people place priority on dealing with the most difficult duty in the first place in a day. They say that successful people place priority on dealing with the most difficult duty in the first place in a day. Priority. Regarding the reservation, those who have made the reservation first will be placed priority on. Regarding the reservation, those who have made the reservation first will be placed priority on. In terms of the reservation, those who have made the reservation first will be placed priority on. Elderly people are usually placed priority on in some situations. I usually place priority on doing what I'm interested in. I usually place priority on doing what I'm interested in. Have you seen the priority seats in public transportations? Some priority seats are adapted, made, created in public transportations. I usually give priority to doing what I'm interested in. I usually give priority to doing what I'm interested in. And elderly people and disabled people are usually given priority to in sitting in public transportations. And some public transportations give priority to elderly people and disabled people in sitting. Elderly and disabled people are usually given priority to when sitting in public transportations. I usually give priority to doing what I'm interested in. I usually give priority to doing what I'm interested in. What do you give priority to the most? What do you give priority to the most when it comes to work? Your interest, payment, or the environment? What place priority on the most? What do you place priority on the most when it comes to searching for a job? Payment, your interest, or the environment, or place? What do you give priority to the most? What do you give priority to the most when it comes to finding a job? What do you give priority to the most when you search for a restaurant you eat at for lunch? What do you give priority to the most when you search for a restaurant for lunch? What do you give priority to the most? I give priority to the congestion the most. I don't like to eat lunch in a crowded place. So the congestion will be the standard criteria of whether or not I will eat at the restaurant. I give priority to the emptiness emptiness of the restaurant when it comes to searching for a restaurant for lunch. I give priority to the emptiness of the restaurant when I search for a restaurant for lunch. I give priority to doing what I'm interested in. I place priority on doing what I'm interested in. I usually place priority on price and congestion. How much it is congested when I search for a restaurant for lunch. I give priority to the calmness when I search for a restaurant for lunch. And price. If you do not respond by the deadline, you will be viewed as canceling the plan. If you don't respond to us by the deadline, you will be viewed as rejection, canceling the reservation. If you don't reply by the deadline, you will be viewed as rejection. You will get bored at viewing the ocean view if you see it every day. You will get bored at viewing the ocean view every day. You will get soon bored at viewing the city view from the high skyscrapers. Viewing is important, but viewing too much is wasting of time. I kept viewing so much, so I wasted much of my time. So I'd like to challenge and take action. It is easy to say, but difficult to put them into action. Put it into practice. 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 Put them into practice. It is easy to say, but it is super difficult. Put them into practice. Put it 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 into practice. What are you viewing about? What are you viewing of? I have some time to view over the plan on Shinkansen while I'm coming back from Osaka to Tokyo. I have 2 hours and a half free time in the Shinkansen. So during that time, I will think over. I will look it over. I will go the documents over. I will go over documents. I will look over documents. I will view over the plan. I don't care. I'm not particular about view from the hotel room. I don't care about the view from the hotel room. Excuse me, I booked a room with the ocean view, but I cannot see it. Could you check my plan, please? Excuse me, I booked a room with ocean view, but I can see the city view now. Okay, let me check. I'm sorry. It was our mistake. We will soon change your room to the one with ocean view. We were wondering if you could move to the room B from room A. I was wondering if you could move to the room A from B. My view is totally different from others. My views totally differ from others. My views totally different from others. My views totally differ from those of others. My views totally differ from those of others. My views are totally different from others. My views are totally different from those of others. I participated in the socializing party in order to make friends. I participated in the international party so as to make friends. I joined the party with a view to making friends. I challenged something new with a view to finding out something. I ordered something different menu than usual with a view to find out the taste for my future tour guide. I ate at a different restaurant which I never go when I'm alone with a view to know the information of. I visited the restaurant. I visited the restaurant. I visited the restaurant. Visit is very difficult to pronounce for me. I visited. I visited. I visited the. Visited. I visited the. I visited the. Visited the. Have you ever visited the restaurant? Visited the restaurant. Visit the restaurant. Have you ever visited the restaurant? Visit. Visit the restaurant. Have you ever visit the restaurant? Have you ever visited the restaurant? Visit the restaurant. Have you ever visited the restaurant? Have you ever visited the restaurant? What do you think from your point of view? What do you think from your point of view? Every fan would like to hear the opinion from celebrity's point of view, from his point of view. Every fan wants to hear the opinions from his point of view. I know the best point of view when you take a picture of Mount Fuji. But keep it secret. It is a secret place. I don't want everyone to know the secret place. I'm sure you can get many likes when you take a picture of the Mount Fuji from the point. Best point of view of Mount Fuji. Best point of view of Mount Fuji. From my point of view, money is just a coin, virtual coin created by humans. From my point of view, we should do what we love. From my point of view, we should do what we love. From my point of view, we should do what we love in our life. Some people in the world might regard Japan as a samurai country. Some people might regard Osaka as funny city. Some people might view Osaka as funny city. Some people might see Osaka as funny city. Could you tell us the overview after the meeting? Thank you for your cooperation. Overview. Could you inform us of the overview of the meeting after the meeting? Our fans are waiting for the overview. We fans are waiting for the overview of the movie. The overview of the new single from the new band will be released, will be made public soon. The fans are waiting for that. The overview of the fraudulent activity is being made public. The overview of the fraudulent activity is being made clear. It's being made clear. It's being made to be clear. Overview. The overview of the scamming activity is being made clear. The head of the scamming activity will be arrested soon. Overview. Do you even understand the overview of the examination? I just touched the overview of the business. I tried to understand even the overview of the business. I try to understand. I try to comprehend. I try to apprehend if at least the overview of the business. Overview. 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 The overview. Overview. The overview of the project is studied. It's been made clear gradually. The overview of the big project is being made clear, be made public gradually. It was not until yesterday that the overview of the itinerary was announced. It was not until a week before the examination that the date of that was announced. It was not until a week before the examination that the plan was announced. It was not until a week before the examination that overview was announced. Overview. Overview. When will the overview be announced? When will the overview be announced? When will be the overview announced? When will be the overview be announced? When will be the overview 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 announced? Released, informed. You should know about the overview of the investment before starting. Otherwise, you might end up losing most of your money. You should comprehend, understand at least the overview of the business before you fail. It is normal to preview the prices we guide the day before our tour, especially you are a beginner. Preview of the movie was conducted among some members, some staffs. What will happen if I push that button? No one knows. Preview seems to be very important when we guide before our tour. Preview of the movie was conducted at a party only among the staffs. Preview of the movie was conducted only among the staffs, related staffs, only among the related staffs, only among related staffs, only among the staffs in relation, only among the staffs concerned. Can I join the preview of the session? You can anytime join the preview of the session, so please welcome anytime. Preview, 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 preview of the movie, preview of the cinema, preview of the cinema, preview of the cinema, preview of the venue, preview of the tourist spot, 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 preview of the tourist spot. Preview of the tourist spots are very important before starting our tour to know the streets, shops, restaurants, public transportations, and so on. Are you taking a drug now? Can I buy eye drops at the drugstore? Sure. Can I get a duty-free discount At the drugstore, yes, but you have to produce your passport. So don't forget to show your passport at the cashier. Can I get the duty-free discount? Duty-free discount at the drugstore? Sure. But you have to produce your passport and register and apply for the duty-free discount. The doctor drugged me in order to alleviate my pain, itchiness. The doctor drugged me in order to alleviate the pain on my neck. I remember being drugged by my mother when I was a kid. I remember being drugged from my mother when I was a kid. I remember being drugged by my mother from my mother when I was a kid. The doctor drugged me in order to alleviate the pain. The pet dog was drugged by mixing the medicine into the food. The dog is drugged by mixing the drug into the food. The pet dog was drugged by mixing that in the food. Whereas some companies went bankrupt, others got highest profits ever, taking advantage of the dropping yen. Some companies were in recession, whereas others got highest profits ever, taking advantage of dropping yen. Whereas some students love mathematics, whereas others don't. Some students like mathematics, whereas others don't. Some students like mathematics and physics, while others don't, whereas others don't. Whereas some students like mathematics, physics, and calculation. Whereas some companies in recession, there were some companies getting the highest profits, taking advantage of dropping yen. I was so exhausted and depressed in those days, whereas I could grow thanks to the hardships. I was listening to YouTube videos last night, and the YouTuber said there are only happiness over only after getting over the difficulties. No. There is only a change. There is change only after getting over difficulties. There is a change only after getting over the difficulties. So without getting over the difficulty, there is no change. My proposal is definitely crazy. My proposal, I'm sure, is not definitely approved. Can you approve of my plan? I cannot approve of your plan. 99% of the employees in the company will not approve of my plan because this is crazy, beyond the reach of imagination. My plans are usually beyond the reach of imagination, beyond the reach of understanding of others, from others. I can approve of the plan to some extent, to a certain extent, to some degrees. I can approve of the plan to a certain extent, to some extent, to a certain extent. Do you know what is the oldest temple in Tokyo? Do you know what is the oldest temple in Tokyo? Do you know how tall is the Tokyo skytree? Do you know how tall is the Tokyo skytree is? Do you know how tall the Tokyo skytree is? Tokyo skytree is 634 meters. 634. Do you know why it was decided as 634? It has a reason. 6 is called mu, 3 is called sa, and 4 is called shi in Japanese. And it is called also Musashi. Musashi was the old name of Tokyo. This is the reason why Tokyo skytree became 634 meters. The approval rate of the Prime Minister has been decreasing after the bad reputation and disclosure. The approval rate of the Prime Minister has been decreasing after the disclosure of the corruption. Approval. I don't try to get approval from others. 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 I don't try to, I don't seek to, I don't try to, I don't strive to, I don't attempt to get approval from others. Approval. Approval. I don't seek to get approval from others. I don't strive to get approval from others. I go my own way. No matter who criticizes me, I go my own way. I don't attempt to get approval from others. These days I feel myself changing. These days I feel myself changing. These days I feel myself changing. I don't try to, I don't seek to, I don't attempt to. Get approval from others. Approval rate. Approval rate of the administration will decrease, tend to decrease, is inclined to decrease, is up to decrease with time. The approval rate of new administration is usually high at first, but it tends to decrease. It is inclined to decrease. It is up to decrease with time. I don't know why. In those days, wearing a mask was not so popular. Even in those days before Corona era, some Japanese people were wearing a mask usually. Even in those days before Corona era, I saw many Japanese people wearing a mask. Even in those days before Corona era, I saw many Japanese wearing a mask, especially in public transportations, in order to protect them from getting flu and common cold and so on. Even in those days, I saw some Japanese people wearing a mask, especially in public transportations, in order to protect themselves from flu, common cold, pollen, and so on. Okay, I will finish speaking here. Thank you for watching. See you next time. See you.